It's Monday, and that means it is time to once again check out Sheebcoin and what it's been doing from a price perspective. Let's get in there, perform some technical analysis and make some price predictions. How's it going, guys? Ryan here and welcome back to another crypto video. I know a few of you have been wondering where I've been over the past few days, and I've been dealing with some medical issues unfortunately, but they are resolved so I can get back to making content for you guys, and I'm kicking off the week with another Sheebcoin video, performing our usual technical analysis and making some price predictions on where we could see Sheeb go in the next few days and weeks. But before we get started, please remember to leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy today's video, and subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of content. We cover crypto, stocks, investing and wealth management in general. So if that tickles your fancy, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and welcome to the channel for all the newcomers. I'd also love to know, of course, if you are a Sheebcoin holder down in the comments section below. But let's jump straight into it now, guys. As always, guys, welcome into CoinSpot. If you're looking to buy a Sheeb or any other cryptocurrency, there is a link to CoinSpot down in the description of this video where you can sign up and get started. But let's take a look at the Sheeb chart. And I'm just going to go back a bit. We're looking at the hourly, and the last time we saw Sheeb, it was roughly at about this point. We're at the 21st, which was Monday of last week. And it would have been about this time, and we'd seen sort of a bit of a dip, unfortunately, which it looks like now we've recovered from. I'm just going to put this line in here to suppose indicate exactly where we were previously and take a look at exactly what had happened. So we did see a nice little bit of a jump occur previously at this point, and I'm just going to make this a bit thicker so we can see it. And a flag did start to form, which we said, yeah, cool, that's fantastic. And it started consolidating, as always, the usual sort of thing. It broke out in an upwards direction, which continued, I suppose, this sort of short-term pattern here, following the momentum, went up, but then unfortunately started consolidating back down, and we saw a bit of a big red day on where we were looking at last week. So what's happened since that point? Well, we've actually seen a bit of a recovery in the crypto market overall. And as a result of that, we have seen some positive impacts on the likes of Sheeb and many other coins as well. And you can see this is still continuing. And the day I want to share with you in particular is this one right here. You can see we had a huge candle occur. And that's due to a large amount of buying pressure. I mean, from the volume, you can see right there, it's just huge, and it's great that we're actually getting some volume stats now from TradingView, so that's fantastic. But you can see a huge increase in volume, huge buys probably occurred. As a result, it's shot up in value all the way up to $11, I lie, 11.41 Australian. And then it's dropped back down on that same sort of hour, roughly to about 10.07. So that's fantastic, but clearly what's occurred is that a massive buy has occurred, and then people have seen this as an opportunity to sell. Traders, probably people who got in roughly at this point and they're making an exit. They're not long-term holders, they're just in there for a quick buck. Fair enough. That's alright. You got to remember, guys, this is how it goes with crypto, this is how it goes with stocks. It doesn't matter, you're always going to get your traders, and when you do get your big spikes, you can expect to see them drop slightly as well. But the positive thing here is the fact that we didn't just stop at this point, we continued upwards, which was fantastic. And I've drawn some weird sort of line here, but let's start zooming out to get a bit more perspective. So we didn't even touch our lowest point, which was previously roughly at 0746 Australian. The lowest we touched, which was the other day, is 0768-ish. So that's positive all in all, but it also helps us start to establish a new trend as well. So I want to just start chucking in some key points here, just so we can establish that trend line. And as you can see, this one is relatively simple to map out. And one thing I'd like you to keep in mind is this is an outlier. So we tend to not include that sort of thing in our trends. But obviously we've got a short-term upwards trend from the 23rd until now, which is the 28th. So that's been a positive few days, and it's been relatively consistent, as I said, off the back of the overall crypto market rising. Now let's put in our identical parallel line to establish a channel. And as you can see, we're still, I suppose, we tipped it twice at these points here on the 23rd and just before the 24th, still on the 23rd as well, and we're continuing in an upwards direction, which is fantastic. In fact, if I angle this one down slightly, let's say we start from roughly this point, angle it down, that's probably a more realistic picture. We're moving up, but we're also consolidating a bit as well. So that's, yeah, it is good news, but we need to see that consistency. And the key for what we're looking for now is to break through the previous resistance. And we're at a point where it's about to be heavy. As you can see, lots of price action sitting roughly at this 1140 mark, which we have discussed previously. And it's a point which we have, you know, seen bounces off. So if we zoom out a bit, you can get a bit more of a perspective. We obviously had our big, I suppose, shoot up of volume and buying at this point in time. It was a bit of a pump, and then we started trending back down. Obviously all the other coins were as well, so it's not like it's SHIB related, but now we're potentially going upwards. But we want to make sure we're making higher highs and lower lows. That's how we're going to reverse this trend. So where are we looking at? First key point. This is our first key target and we're almost upon it. And even in the trend we're currently going in, we're likely to hit it before we see any sort of a break up or a breakdown. So that's good news. But this point right here will form a relatively big resistance point, roughly at 1136. As you can see, we have had plenty of price action occurring at this point across the past few weeks, making it a very solid point of resistance. And that's why I want to highlight this one specifically. If we can manage to break through that point, I think we genuinely have a chance of starting to move upwards in the long term. As I say, high highs, lower lows. That is the goal. It's something we haven't been doing over a long-term perspective. Now, if we just take it out to the daily, we can see that the trend is becoming, I suppose, slightly more clear here. On the daily, we are starting to move up. Here's that point once again where we saw us move. We had a horrible day on the 21st, another big dip. The whole crypto market dipped, and as you saw, that was those big red candles on those days. We had another pretty average day here where we tried to break, but it just did not work. And now we're still trending upwards though. So we've got green, red, but still not like a massive dump. It was a breakout past the point of resistance on this line. It broke roughly at 1017, went up, as I said, to that 1040 sort of region, came back down, and then we continued trending upwards, which is positive. We want to keep testing this point. In fact, we don't want to just keep testing it, we want to break through it. Now, let's say we don't break through it. Where's our point of support? Well, from a daily perspective, we can move this one down and a new point of support has been established. And it's right here. So obviously we can see that we had plenty going on here, plenty going on here, plenty going on here, plenty going on here. That is our new point of support from a price perspective, and it's at 1050, so that's good. We've actually managed to break through one of our other key points and we've managed to stay above it. Hopefully we see that is a consistent point that either if we do dip down to it, we bounce off it, but more importantly, we don't want to break through it. That's the key issue. We don't want to break down and as a result start trending downwards. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into actually, you know what? No, I'll chuck it in here first. I'm just going to get rid of a few of these lines just so we don't distort anything. I want to chuck in our favorite indicators. And those are the moving averages. They're some of the best, some of the most concise. Easiest to, I suppose, understand. Chuck in the 20-day. I don't think we can even chuck in the 50-day yet still. I'll just double check. If we can, fantastic, but if we can't, I completely understand. No, we can't chuck that one in. But one positive change that has occurred is we've broken through the 20-day moving average and we are now sitting above it. This is probably a key reason we saw this big candle here, because that was the point at which we went bang, you know, straight through it. People saw it as a turning point for SHIB from a technical perspective. Unfortunately, it did come back down, but then it did keep going, which is great news. As I say, likely going to be traders who are entering in at these points in order to get out and make a quick profit, and they would have made a good amount, especially if they got in here and they exited up here. They've effectively made, you know, over 50%, 75% profit. It is a good trade. But for the long termers, such as myself, we're way more focused on these moving averages here. I'm going to just take it straight back to the hourly chart, just so we can see exactly what's going on. Awesome, that's great news. Let's bring in the MACD, moving average convergence divergence, to see what's happening there as well. And as you can see, once again, that short-term trend has broken above the long-term moving average. So we are going to keep moving in that direction. Interestingly enough, it looked like it was going to dip down here, but it's actually continued, which is good news. It's showing that there's a bit of strength coming back. Obviously, having these four numbers here is beautiful over on the right hand side instead of it being a 0 where this one is. So I think just from a psychological point of view as well, for people who are looking at SHIB, they're saying, oh, it's starting to recover a bit, you know, which is good. And as I said, we see all these dumps occur. It's recovering time and time again. So you can't knock it. There was obviously the big point, as we saw previously. So let's just add in for our final indicator a moving average of 50. Make it red, just so we can see. And yeah, as you can see, it has been beautiful. We had our golden cross occur at this point here, which indicates a reversal in the overall price action, and we're starting to trend back upwards. So fantastic news for SHIB holders, and genuinely some real good positive sentiment that has been brought back to the overall crypto market. I hope you enjoyed the SHIB technical analysis today, guys. Leave a like if you did to show your support for SHIB, and subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of content. I cover crypto, including SHIB obviously, as well as stocks, investing and wealth management in general. So if that tickles your fancy, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications. As well, remember, let me know down in the comment section below if you are a SHIB holder or you're planning to become one in the near future. But with that, guys, I'll leave it there. I hope you have an awesome day. See you next time. Cheers.